we have to start with the biggest story, the most drama. I think one of the biggest incidents we've had in current years in the Premier League was the disallowing of what we now know was a Luis Diaz goal in the game at Spurs against Liverpool, the high-profile game at the weekend, and the PGMOL coming out and saying that VAR made a human error. They acknowledged their mistake.
Significant human error.
Significant human error. They acknowledged their mistake and that the Diaz goal should have stood.
I think this is the low point of the 4 years and a bit now of VAR, Rob, isn't it? Because of the nature of this error, because it wasn't the subjective ones are different, and there's been errors, always, and sometimes when they go too far, there'll be an apology from Howard Webb.
Correct.
There's sometimes been mistakes made in offsides, Rob, where they put the lines on the wrong person or whatever.
Yeah.
This is even a bigger error than that the VAR in this game didn't know that the on-field decision was offside.
Yeah.
And
they thought it was onside.
And they thought it was a goal on field, so they were asked to check the offside line. They had a quick look. Yep, he's onside.
Check complete is the phrase, yeah.
And that was where the confusion was, because that wasn't what was given on the field of play. The referee on there, to be fair, left totally exposed. And Liverpool, should have been 1-0 up. That's a point where I think they've done a 10 men at that point. We'll get onto that as well. That's one of the biggest misjustices, Rob. And listen, I'm going to say this, but I ever want to see it happen.
Yeah.
That's the closest I've felt to almost feeling like they should replay the game.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want it to happen, but it's the closest I've felt to it, given how bad an error that was.
Well, I go down the road of it, and I agree totally with what you say. In terms of the lowest point, I think because of the high-profile nature of the game, because of what we saw, because everybody, we did the game. Let's just roll it back. We did the broadcast. We get the freeze frame of the shot where Diaz is running through. The last defender, Mickey van der Ven, looks like it's his leg, and we're thinking, he's onside. But then we were always led to believe that VAR has different angles. They're drawing on things.
Because we've made little faux pas, little mistakes in the past where we're trying to almost put our own lines on and assuming, well, hang on a minute.
It's not the right angle, and where's the...
And you've got to be careful with that, because we haven't got the technology to draw the lines properly, so we have to be a little bit careful of that.
So we have to be... but in fairness, what we did say is, to the naked eye, this doesn't look right, but PGMOL are saying they'll send us the relevant sort of pictures of it down the road. Now, that never happened, and we now know what the cause was in VAR. So there's two things that come up to me. The first is, well, you say it's the lowest point, and I don't disagree, because I think because of the nature and the intensity and everybody watching the game, etc. I just think it undermines many decisions that have gone on in the past that you go, was that one right as well? Or have they made a mistake on that one? But, how many times has this happened in the past that we haven't known? And it worries me for the future, Rob, that every time now we see a line drawn, we kind of question, has he got the right person? Are they agreeing?
Communicating right.
And so, and I haven't got the solution. Well, maybe the semi-automatic move to AI.
That is going to be the solution, I feel
that is the solution. But from where we are with the current setup, you said you almost felt like it could be replayed. I almost felt like it was one of those situations where, Rob, the VAR know that the mistake has been made because they've said he's onside. The goal should have been given and wasn't. I almost feel that the referee should have the power within. So VAR go to the referee down in England, and the VAR goes, no, you've got that wrong. He was onside. It's definitely a goal, and be able to stop the game within. That could happen in 10 seconds, and I know it opens a can of worms, and it's not something I particularly want. But if that gets it right, because the VAR is sitting up there knowing the mistake has been made, that Liverpool haven't got the goal, and we're carrying on as if everything's normal.
Sorry, just to throw the context around that, because as soon as the free kick for offside was played, which happened pretty quickly, then you're
the game has to continue.
You're not meant to go back after the game has been restarted.
I almost feel like there should be circumstances where, and I'm not just saying, I'm saying that because of Liverpool and it changed the game and it had been a different game and Liverpool's unbeaten run and all that. But if this is Tottenham, Rob, and Tottenham are in a situation, I'd say exactly the same thing. It isn't about any club.
No,
it's about
not.
getting to the right decision. And if 10 seconds after the ball's been kicked on the free kick, the referee's able, because the referee must have known, and the VAR have known, the referee must have known that he's made the wrong decision.
No, because the referee thinks VAR thinks they were backing up his...
Correct, but as soon as they take the free kick, the guy in VAR down in England knows that that's not the correct thing. Sure, he must have said to referee, or do you think he hasn't said anything?
Yeah.
I'm
so
sure
what you're saying is like, well, that looked like a free kick for offside.
Yeah.
No, it was
like
fine.
Everybody just carried on, just say, if we carry on, they won't notice.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's, you know, we had a long chat today on our air about it, Rob, and we did straight after the game yesterday. We kind of looked at it and like, wow, this kind of looks onside, waiting for confirmation. And then that came when we got off air yesterday about the mistake that they made. I just, I don't want to go on about this, Rob, but for those four, we understand it's four people. And we went to Stockley Park, by the way. We went there and saw how they kind of did this. There's four people. And within those four, they didn't realise that the on-field, it was communicated badly. Maybe there was words from the referee. Like, I don't know, I just don't get it. Because we look at the pictures, we see the linesman like that with his flag up and like,
Luis Diaz not
celebrating, and he stopped the celebration. We saw a shot of the flag, a camera, ISO camera of the flag going up, and it's like everybody realised that on-field is offside, apart from the most important people. And the VAR crew. So a really bad day for them. It's a bad day for Howard Webb, a guy that came in, Rob, and was all like, we're going to make this better. Great reputation. He's a great guy. He was a great referee. Brilliant record as a referee. Good talker.
He's under pressure a bit now, Rob.
He's under pressure.
He and his group are under a little bit of pressure now.
The semi-automatic, we saw it worked brilliantly at the World Cup. My understanding is that it's being used in the Champions League, also in Serie A. The Premier League clubs, by the way, everybody, it's not the PGMOL, the Premier League clubs voted not to bring it in.
Do they not
for this
feel
season?
It's developed?
There must be something about it that they feel is not quite ready, whether some of the stadiums have to have extra. I don't know, it's for cameras and stuff. But we saw it work in the World Cup, and it's like, this is so quick, it's brilliantly done, super quick. You'd lose the time, added time would be less because you're not looking at lines and drawing lines. It would save that as well.
Takes out the human error, doesn't it?
Takes out the human error on that.
The other thing I would say on that, Rob, is we've got the best league in the world. Look at what we're going to talk about. Look at the quality. Get the best refereeing system you can in the world to back it up. And
the staff, whether it's retraining new people. You know, there's quite a few now mistakes that have been made where there's been apologies. You know, we're almost at the point where we need a VAR for the VAR. You know, and that's
specialists, Rob, top class specialists who are delivering the thing.
What's Ron's stuff, mate? Should we continue with the controversial moments in the game? Should we do that? We'll get to the football and stuff that we saw. The other one was Curtis Jones, Rob, and it's fairly early in the game. And this is split opinion from former players and for pundits about what this was. Lee Dixon was pretty strong in commentary, thinking that it was a genuine attempt to win the ball, that his foot was on the ball, it followed through, and it unfortunately caught the player. It was Yves Bissouma, wasn't it, the player?
Yves Bissouma was the player,
I saw it as a clumsy skim the top of the ball, and when you see the studs with a straight leg and the studs up hit the shin, and his leg kind of bow a little bit, his ankle turned over on the base of that force, I just thought it was a red card.
I would agree, Robin, and I think the important thing to say here is that we work together, but we don't necessarily have the same view. We see things from different points, and it isn't that we ever collude or say, what do you think, and we both get the same answer. I thought exactly the same. I do feel as though, and I respect everybody's view and opinion, and the Lee Dixons and others around the world who said, they thought he bounced off the ball, and I get that, and I understand that, Rob. But eventually, the studied boot is high on the shin, it's forcing the leg back, it's endangering the safety of an opponent, and that's a red card. Now, I was, as ever, you always read up after and watch shows and get other people's opinion, and heard a good phrase, and it's a phrase I picked up last week when somebody took, I think it was Andros Townsend was doing commentary, co-commentary recently, and he said, that's a modern-day penalty, where people run up, stutter, put it in the net. He said, that's a modern-day penalty. I thought yesterday is a modern-day red card. I think sometimes when we've played, Rob, maybe in our day, you could get away with that. Oh, I got a bit of the ball, and then you get a thing. If you are adhering to the letter of the law, if the referee's looking, did that endanger the safety of opponents?
That's it. It doesn't matter whether you meant to. The intent was taken out of the laws a long time ago on those challenges. Does it literally endanger the safety? You know, and listen, I also understand that there's other challenges that happen to endanger, because that's the nature of the game. It does have challenges like that.
Yeah.
But when there's a direct challenge, and I think the stud's up, it's regarded as being reckless. And again, you know, that for me. But again, even if they are, whatever they do on that, that's a subjective call, Rob, isn't it?
Of course.
And those ones, sometimes you're going to get it, sometimes it's going to go a different way, which isn't ideal, by the way, when you've got VAR. Was it a clear and obvious error, actually? If it was on-field was a yellow card, I guess the VAR thought that's a clear and obvious error. And he went, the referee goes over, and he was there for like 5 seconds. He saw it like, nah, you're right, this is something I missed. So, others might argue, was it that bad of a call, carry on playing?
People are saying when you see the still, it always looks worse, which I do get. But listen, I just think in the current kind of climate and the referee, I think the referee would have been wrong not to give a red, having seen what he saw.
So, quickly on the other one as well, Diogo Jota gets yellow carded twice within a minute and a half.
Less than a minute and a half.
I mean, I think we did the highlights again on the show today, and the first one
is
that
hard.
to be a yellow card is so harsh.
And because of that, and I know that referees shouldn't, but because of the first one, I almost feel the second one, if he'd have gone, Diogo, you've just done that, you've done that, I could have got you, be careful, I would have been okay with that.
Totally.
I don't feel like the second...
But I don't often like that, Rob.
No, I don't often like it.
I'm a bit of a black and white guy.
Based on 90 seconds of the first one that he doesn't have any contact virtually, Udogie goes down. The second one, he comes in, it's not the worst challenge in the world, and he can have a word with him. I think if he'd had a word with him and carried on, I don't think anybody's going crazy to say, Diogo Jota should have got 2 yellows. I just think that was a little bit more common sensey. Come on, Diogo. But it is what it is. It's hard to argue that it's not a second yellow on its own merit.
So, on its own merit, I suppose.
And there
the
we go.
first one's really harsh. You hardly touched him.
Liverpool are down to 9, Rob, but not out of the game.
No, you know what? And at 10 men, I thought they were good. This was... Oh, gosh, how do you say it? But I was impressed with Liverpool.
Yeah.
This game, and there's a ton of drama and, like, really, really, like, unlucky. Well, it's not even strong enough. Like, that's a bad outcome for Liverpool, given what we just talked about.
Yeah,
but their football was good. When it was 11 v 11, they found a lot of space. They looked strong. They had a lot of areas to play. And we talked about the midfield area might be a situation. Liverpool looked absolutely fine with that. Szoboszlai can work his socks off getting back. McAllister puts his foot in. And I thought when you're watching a game, it's like, oh, wow, Liverpool going to score soon. Yeah. And then it goes to 10 and everything else happens. Were you... I mean, it's hard to evaluate much else, Rob, isn't it, given what we saw?
It takes so much away from the game, and then you lose 2 men, and then they've got to go to one. But still, Rob, even with 9, there was still a threat of counter-attack with Salah's pace.
But it's hard, isn't it, with 9?
Yeah, it is.
You've got flipping 8, it's 5 and 3,
I still
wasn't it?
wasn't thinking
they were going to concede.
I kind of felt they were okay.
Yeah.
I thought the back four was solid. Gomez grew into the game. Matip and Van Dijk were solid enough. Robbo was sitting in. And in the end, I just think lack of numbers, a little bit of fatigue. Robbo getting out. It wasn't able to get out to Porro, who can put a ball in. Matip's a little bit tired.
So what do you think? John Matip, again, I've heard other people say, you know what? What's he meant to do? Ball's fizzed across. He sticks his leg out. I tend to think, if that's in... And I know it's not the first half an hour of the game, but should he have got himself in line with the ball and not try and lash at it, just try and make good contact? Was it a tired lunge?
I think that's an easy thing to say to somebody who's, when you're watching and you're not... Listen, he's been defending
I know he has.
For 20 minutes. He hasn't, for me, he hasn't quite had the right concentration on his connection with the ball as it's come. He's gone to just put his left foot and think, I'll put this out for a corner and we defend the corner. And he's not had that real care where your head's down, How many times have we seen, Van Dijk do it and John Terry do it? And, that's what they do. They don't make them. Matip's a different type and he's just a little bit tired. He's a bit looser. It's a bit less concentrated. And because of that, it hits his shin. And, it's a killer moment. Alisson, by the way, had come up with 2 or 3
Brilliant,
games.
yeah.
Magnificent saves.
Yeah.
That many keepers in the league don't get. I mean, his form recently, Newcastle way, brilliant save, Almiron.
Yeah,
Last
he looks
weekend,
sharp
brilliant
as
sail
anything.
again. His back shot
Yeah, he's really,
on top
really
of
good
his
at the
game as the team were. I was so disappointed for Liverpool because I thought there was also Jurgen Klopp. I did a little, listen to his presser and that, and it's like new Liverpool, it's new energy, it's Liverpool 2.0.
Yeah.
Don't keep comparing us with old Liverpool. This is my.
Yeah.
And I saw that, Rob.
Yeah,
and I felt that
definitely
a little
evolving.
bit.
It's definitely
I felt
evolving.
that, and that's where I felt most sorry for them in that they were robbed, really.
Yeah, they were robbed, yeah. And I hate it when there's a man sent off. Particularly a game like this where there's so much interest in terms of how they play, play, who's going to win that area, that matchup's a good matchup. And when that goes taken away with a man less, I'm like,
He said straight in commentary, didn't he? Spoils the game.
Yeah, it kind of does spoil the game. Now, that's not to say that,
it's
of
not
course,
the right
these
decision.
things got to happen.
Yeah,
It's just so disappointing for everyone at home. And us, when we analyse the key factors in the game, less so. One factor, Rob, I just want to talk real quick, was Maddison.
Yeah.
And Richarlison and Heung-min Son, that goal. And that was a little insight into what Spurs have been great at.
Yeah.
Maddison coming way off the line, like way into midfield area.
Yeah.
Gets turned and he's got the ability, Rob, with those
those
defence splitting passes from him is brilliant into Richarlison.
He's one of them, Rob, isn't he, who, with better players, looks better because his runs are happening.
The runs of time.
It
was a great run from Richarlison.
Yeah, like, no disrespect to him, he played in a good Leicester team, but it was a little bit more functional, the old hit body of things. He's got better, clever, more cultured movement around him, and he's stepped up.
I feel like that. I mean, there's a I'm not opening a can of worms, but the best signing of the summer, James Maddison.
He's definitely in there. I mean, James Ward-Prowse would have
Szoboszlai
would be in the conversation, but you're not far off.
So. Yeah, I just wish we'd be talking more definitively about these two teams, given what we saw. But I'm afraid what happened was.
Sorry to just stop there, though.
All
but
right.
are we not slightly? And I nicked the phrase from James Maddison. Certainly not my words, his. Like, not so Spursy. Like, it could have drawn 1-1.
I don't like that term.
No,
anyway.
I don't like the term anyway. And he was saying, and I'm saying it in the way that. We should forget about that. As Ange Postecoglou's team, if this is Pep, they find a way. They've won the game. They're unbeaten. They've won the game. All right, Liverpool down to 9. They've been fortunate that Luis Diaz hasn't goal in. Yeah. They're unbeaten, and they've won the way. They've won the game. And somebody said, again, I was reading, you read around, and somebody said, that's a victory for happy football. If that's Mourinho or Conte, I'm not sure the goal goes in because I'm not sure they push as many people forward as
well. That's the point. Yeah. It's so different now. The whole Spursy thing is so different. The style of play is so different. The intent is so different. The style is so different. The manager's, approach to everything is so different with what he does in every moment of the game, from picking the team to picking the tactics to doing the substitutes to doing everything else. It is about possession, attacking, forward passes. I mean, that's so different. I mean, the Spursy thing ain't never going to go away, Rob. Because I'm telling you now, when Spurs have a little wobble, which they'll have a little wobble. First thing, it had nothing to do with that. I don't like the term. It's lazy, it's general.
I like that Maddison's always looking to Justin and say, can we forget that now? This is a different group. This is a different era. This is a different style. This is a different manager.
Yeah.
That was past. Let's stop looking back.
And enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be in second place in the league table. They shouldn't be doing what they're doing, Tottenham. They shouldn't. New manager wasn't fancied. The top man, Harry Kane, left the football club. Yeah. Not a ton of new players in the window, though that after the manager was there, he brought in some good signings. Yeah. And players that are playing that didn't play under the previous managers.
Nowhere near.
I mean, they shouldn't be doing that.
No.
Second place right now, 7 games played, 17 points. Brilliant story for them. And I think for us, I love it. Like something a little bit different, a little bit new, unexpected. Spurs to be there ahead of Arsenal right now. Have I got the right table here? I think I've got the right table. Just on goal difference from Arsenal. And Liverpool in 4th place after that crazy result there. But it's fun, isn't it? I mean,
another big 6 club.
Yeah, playing the way that they want to play.
And I mean, let's see how the season goes, Rob. We're 7 games in.
We'll be here every step of the way. Yeah. So when it starts to...
we'll also be there. But great start for Spurs. Big disappointment for Liverpool and big disappointing day for
That's a big moment now. I'm sorry, mate, but just that whole controversy there, that's a big moment in the Premier League history.
And it's a big moment in this season. When we look back at this season, you know, depending where Liverpool are and what they're chasing and what they do in Tottenham, that could have big consequences.
Yeah. Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.